All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to Solid Chat with Mr. Zico. Okay, last episode was fantastic. My guest was really very hot. Okay, it was really very educative and very interesting. And today, like I always do, I bring what I call the big fish. Today, gentlemen and ladies, nice and decent people, I have another big fish seated right here on my hot seat. Okay, he's a philanthropist, and I can tell you, many have benefited from his benevolence, one who derives joy in giving. Today, right here, gentlemen and ladies, I have this man seated on my hot seat. He's the CEO of a very big brand in Nigeria, and I'm talking about Dynamic Bright Global Links Limited. Gentlemen and ladies, I will introduce my guest, but before I do that, we'll go on a short break and we'll be right back.
Greetings, lovely people. My name is Buchi, and you're watching Solid Chat with Mr. Zico. Don't go away. You'll be glad you did.
You're welcome back. Oh yeah? Like I promised, you'll be amazed. Okay, I have a very big fish seated on my hot seat. Okay, gentlemen and ladies, if you're not too busy, let's welcome Mr. Bright Akachi. Alozie. You're welcome. Good to see you.
Yeah, me too.
How has it been, the festive period and all that?
Yeah, wonderful. At least it gives me opportunity to stay with my people.
Wow.
And I have interacted with them, be able to know what is going on in the community and know how I can contribute my little quota.
Yeah. Okay, let's go into it properly. Who is Bright?
Well, Bright Akachi Alozie is a businessman.
Okay.
He's a man who grew up, started from scratch to be able to get to where I am today. He's a man who loves to put smile on people's face, and equally a man who loves his family very much.
He is a man who loves to put smile on people's face, and he loves his family. You heard that from Mr. Bright Akachi Alozie. Where do you come from?
Okay, I come from E2 in the Zenith local government of Imo State.
Looking at you, one would think you've never suffered. Was it that your childhood, somebody was overfeeding you? Or have you struggled at all? Has there been any time it was tough?
Of course, all my life as a young man, I went through, I've done so many things to survive. I've worked so hard. I've done all kind of job to be able to get to where I am today.
Wow.
Yes.
What was your upbringing like, your childhood? Can we share the experience?
Yeah, my upbringing wasn't that nice per se, because I never enjoyed my upbringing as a young boy, but I just give God the glory that at least I'm alive today.
You mean your upbringing, you were not born with silver spoon, no golden spoon?
No.
You struggled?
Not at all. I struggled.
But how come? How did you manage to scale through all the challenges and you are where you are today?
Just focus and just being dedicated to what I'm doing as a young man. And one thing I promised myself, never to bring a bad name to my family, never to bring shame to my family. Promise myself to work hard, which I'll be doing all along, to be able to get to where I am today.
He promised himself he will never bring shame to his family. And you're getting this straight from my guest on my hot seat, okay, on Solid Chat, Mr. Bright Akachi Alozie. Now let's go into it straight. What do you do for a living?
I'm a businessman. I'm into freight forward and I'm into oil and gas. I equally do other businesses.
Right here in Nigeria?
Yeah, I have office in China. I have bonded terminal, Dynamic Bright bonded terminal. I equally building the second one at One Port Harcourt. That is going on right now.
And can I ask you this? Permit me to say you're a philanthropist. At least we know this. We know this. How come? What led into this giving that is making people talk?
Okay, actually what happened was just because of my upbringing, someone that was just there, things were so hard at a time in our life when you see almost the whole community were just literally giving us food, supporting our things we are so bad. And in my mind, I was just telling myself that, God, if you bless me, I'm going to give back to the society. I'm going to make sure that all these old women I go to farm my farm for, I do all kind of job to help them, that always provide food for me and my family. I'm not going to let them down. I'm not going to forget them. And show love to them. And that is what I'm actually doing.
Okay. Do you give because you have, or you give because why do you give just because you have?
I give because I love giving.
He gives because he loves giving. And this is coming to you straight from my guest on Solid Chat, Mr. Bright Akachi Alozie. He gives because he loves giving. And we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back on Solid Chat. Don't go nowhere.
Hello, this is your boy Samson from Boston, USA. Keep watching Solid Chat with Mr. Zico.
You're welcome back. I still have my guest here, Mr. Bright Akachi Alozie, on my hot seat. I'm back to you, sir.
Yeah.
Growing up, are there some experiences, or is there any particular experience that has not left your memory? Any tough moments that you?
Of course, a lot of tough moments.
Can you share some of them with us?
Okay. Growing up was like I said before, growing up was like a hell for me. You know, growing up, find yourself in the midst of polygamy, find yourself where nobody's there to tell you to do the right thing. Growing up in an environment where nobody guide your footsteps, guide your direction, and you be able to grow up and be able to guide yourself, be able to give yourself direction that no one was there to do. Understand? So that is what, sometimes that's things I remember. I say, wow, God is wonderful.
Okay, let me say this. You know, we are in a world where this generation believes in get rich today, die quick. And you are not into fraud. And you are successful. Are you saying that it is possible to succeed in Nigeria without being fraudulent?
Of course, it is very, very possible. All you need is just to keep your hands straight and work so hard for your money. And you get there. You don't need to necessarily, it doesn't necessarily mean that one must get into, must be fraudulent or get into something bad. Nigeria is a blessed country. Aside what we are going through as a result of bad leadership, Nigeria is a very good country that you can start up something, no matter how small it is. My life, I grew up, never became this level I am today. Everything was just a gradual process, you know. So because I remember those are the days when you see maybe I was just doing all kind of, even on the course of doing my job, I go extra mile to please my boss. I go extra mile even sometimes when we finish working in the day, I will start washing their cars and all that to earn a little money so to go home. So, but you see, one thing I noticed about life, when you have your trust, put your trust in God, and you work hard for it, God will definitely answer.
Wow. You see, you heard him say you can be successful without being fraudulent. So if you think being fraudulent is the way, I have anything. And that's coming from my guest on Sunday Chat, Mr. Bright Akachi Alozie. All right, okay, so let's go into it now. They say charity begins at home. And there is this rumor about the Ezeship Dozo in your community. You know, the whole thing is factionalized. What is your advice?
Honestly, I wouldn't want to go into that because from what I heard, the matter is already in court. So I wouldn't want to jeopardize this court processes. Okay. But my advice is just for peace to reign.
For peace to reign.
Yeah.
His advice on the Ezeship Dozo from where he comes from is for peace to reign. And you had that very clear, I can tell you. All right, let's go into it again. Having dealt with your community, we are all Nigerians. We know what's happening. Agitations here and there. Sunday Igboho is on the other corner. Nnamdi Kanu is on the other corner. What's your take on the agitation in the country right now?
We are one Nigeria and we are working hard to make Nigeria a better place. Like I said before, all the problem we need is just good leadership. We don't have problem in Nigeria. So all this agitation may be as a result of bad leadership.
Okay.
So I think when the government gets it right, all those things will be a thing of the past.
So what was if you are asked to advise the government regarding this situation we find ourselves?
If I'm asked to advise the government, it's just for them to remember the promises and be able to provide all the amenities that are required for the people to live well. Understand? So I think when all those things are put in place, everything will be fine.
Okay, you know that of course when we start talking about Nigeria, the tension begins to go high. Now I want to break it down now. I want to really break it down on a lighter mood. How do you relax? Because we all know you're very busy. But how do you relax when you want to relax?
I relax mostly when I'm with my children.
Okay.
Understand? You know, they play around, they make me happy. I think through that I relax.
Okay. Maybe going to the beach, you go on holidays?
Yeah, maybe go to abroad, go to like US, UK, maybe travel all over.
All right, let me ask this. What's your best food?
Swallow.
Swallow. You had him swallow. You are like me. If I don't lick my fingers, I'm not eating. All right, nice and decent people. You are still on Solid Chat with Mr. Zico, and I have my guest seated right here on my horse, Mr. Bright Akachi, Alozie. All right, let's go more. There's this culture we have on Solid Chat where your viewers need to learn from you. Can you give us your favorite Igbo proverb and explain it? We'll give you all the time in the world. Just think of one good proverb that you know they are watching. So you give us the proverb and you give us the meaning.
Okay, my proverb, the one I always remember.
In your language?
In my language. Ojingaji chetonye jiaka.
Ojingajeri chetonye jiaka. This simply shows that you are a true philanthropist. Okay, what's the meaning?
The meaning is that one with golden spoon should remember those that don't have any at all.
One with golden spoon should remember those that don't have at all. And that is coming from my guest on Solid Chat, Mr. Akachi Alozie. He said, Ojingajeri chetonye jiaka. Now let me quickly ask you, what's your advice for the younger generation?
My advice for the younger generation is just for them to remember there will be a days of reckoning in every activities they do, and let them equally remember that it comes from people's home, and every parent expects the best from their child. Every parent expects the best from their children. So on the course of you growing as a young chap, you are able to remember that your parents, you need to put smile into them and be able to do things that will give you a good name and that will not bring shame to your family.
How do you manage the crowd that follow you? Because we know because of the kind of heart you have, it attracts all and sundry. How do you manage the crowd that follow you?
It's just endurance, tolerance. Understand, that's what you need. And you know me, I'm just like a homeboy. So I feel free, I associate with everyone. And I think to an extent, not everybody will like you. But to an extent, I know I like my people and I know they like me too.
Now let me ask you this. In the beginning, it wasn't like this, right? There were a time when life was tough, according to you now.
Yeah, of course.
The time you made your first 1 million, did you sleep that night?
In fact, the first time I made my first 1 million, understand, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep.
And the thing got increasing?
Yes.
Okay. When you made your first million, were you still giving from that first million?
Yeah, what actually happened when I made my first 250,000, yes, I couldn't sleep. And I had to use a wrapper to wrap the money, cover the money, like a dove, cover the money. I will just circle the money till the break, making sure that no one comes in.
Nobody comes in
to take the money away from me.
Okay, I want to take you back to your favorite meal. You said you like swallow.
Yes.
What soup?
Oha soup.
Oha soup. Gentlemen and ladies, the way it looks is like very soon we'll be eating oha soup on solid chat, okay? And whenever he's coming to your house, make sure you have swallow and oha soup. All right, I'm sure your wife is watching this.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
What do you have? Because we have had everything that she has been solidly behind you. They say some even call her prayer warrior, that she prays without ceasing. What word do you have for her on solid chat?
Yeah, the word I have for my wife is just for her to keep doing the good work she's doing, to love her husband more, and to show love to...
That's how I favor you now.
And everybody show love to one another.
Okay.
Of course, she's a mother of my children, and we have been living good, and the kids are wonderfully trained. So I think she's the best woman.
Wow. Before I come back to that, madam, you're hearing, say people loving your husband, this is the protecting one area. You understand what I'm saying? How does she feel when she sees you giving the way you give? Because you give lavishly.
You know what happened? My wife has never for one day object my giving or be against it. And I wouldn't use the word that I give lavishly. I will use the word I give with reason.
With reason.
So because those that give lavishly are the people who don't work hard for the money. When you work hard for the money, you expect a reason before giving. Understand? You know, money is something you don't just give. You give based on that person's need. Understand? So if the need arises, and especially the one I don't give a second thought when someone is sick. Understand? When someone is sick, if I don't do that to help, it gives me a sleepless night. I don't sleep when I don't get help, especially those that are sick.
Now, as a philanthropist, there is this rumor. Will I call it rumor? It has made news that you have raised men and women. How do you feel when you see somebody that became successful through you?
Great. Great, because you know it has always been my prayer. Understand? When people survive through you, understand? It's a thing of joy. Seeing someone you help, you raise, and see that person becoming a better person. Because you know, let me tell you, presently, having someone successful around you is not easy. You know, I say it's not easy. It's not everybody want to succeed genuinely. It's not everybody who is around you want to achieve a better goal through good name.
Yeah.
There are so many people, when you see them come around you, by the time they spend a year, 6 months, you see them, they will be able to show you that these people are not ready. This person is not ready to survive. Is not ready to work hard. But I think there's those that when you see them around you, you see that zeal, you see that respect. You know, most of the problem we're having now, people working under you, is to respect the office you are occupying and be able to respect the job they are doing without not mixing it up.
Okay, now in retrospect, take a deep breath and look at the back. Are there people you remember that you want to say thank you to, that in one way or the other assisted your journey of life?
Okay. Yes, on the course of my growth, I remember someone like Mr. Alozie, understand, and Mr. Christy Gresham.
Now we have come to that point where I will allow you to do a shout out to anybody. But before we do that, gentlemen and ladies, it has been quite interesting on my hot seat, and I have been chatting with my guest, Mr. Bright Akachi Alozie. You know, a man who finds giving, who finds fun in giving. Okay. We'll come back to have him do a shout out, and I can assure you I will let him be very brief about it. So if you don't eventually hear your name, you know that I stopped here. But before then, we'll go on a quick break and we'll be right back. Don't go away.
Hello everyone, I am Today Forward. Please keep watching Solid Chat with Mr. Zico. Stay tuned.
All right, gentlemen and ladies, you're welcome back to Solid Chat with Mr. Zico. And I still have my guest, Mr. Bright Akachi Alozie, right here sitting on my hot seat. And you will agree with me that it has been fun, okay? It has been interesting. We've allowed you here from the horse's mouth, okay, from a man who likes giving. You know, he gives not expecting anything from anyone. And I can tell you, this man has done a lot, even beyond his own community. He's a man we are very proud of, and that is why we decided to bring him on Solid Chat today to tell the story by himself. And I know you had him. Okay, I'll go back to my guest now. Anybody you want to do shout out?
Yeah, my wife. Yeah, my wife.
He started from his wife. Okay, you can feel free to do your shout out. Anybody want to say?
Okay, I just want to say shout out to my wife, wonderful wife, and to my children who has always made me happy. Just want to say a very big thank you to them and say God bless them.
Wow. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation
Thank you.
on Solid Chat.
Thank you, my brother.
I hope you will come again when we come, because I believe we still have a lot to talk with you.
Okay.
He said, okay. Gentlemen and ladies, thank you for watching us today on Solid Chat. It has been fun, it has been entertaining. And I can assure you, next episode will be solid as well. On Solid Chat, we bring solid guests. And we're very grateful for our guest today, Mr. Brian, and for honoring and chatting with us. I know you have learned one or two things from this. Okay, please keep those comments coming and hit the notification button so that you follow us whenever we make a post, alright? And please subscribe to our YouTube channel, alright? Thank you for watching. I remain yours truly, Mr. Zico. Like I always say, fire them.